The X Interview, hosted by Global X from the Skoll World Forum.
I'm Pamela Hartigan, and I run the Schwab Foundation for Social Entrepreneurship. It's a Geneva-based organization. What we do is we search and select the world's leading social innovators with a business case who have succeeded in actually implementing and scaling their initiatives and are changing the lives of millions of people through entrepreneurial approaches that can be for-profit or not-for-profit. I have so many good stories, but I'm going to try and be brief about one story that particularly captured my imagination. And it is the story of an entrepreneur. His name is Cristobal Colon, which means Christopher Columbus, believe it or not. Cristobal Colon is from Spain. He is a psychiatrist, and he worked in psychiatric institutions for many years, working with mentally ill people who were mentally ill, schizophrenics, depressives, obsessive-compulsive people. And he became increasingly frustrated with the way institutional approaches to people with mental illness were being led, particularly what he called work therapy. He said work therapy is this approach where you give these people something to do. Perhaps if you've ever had children, you know what it's like to send them off to camp. They come back with silly-looking ashtrays and things like this that you sort of put in a drawer and only a mother could love. And that was the kind of thing that these people were being given, to make as if they were working, but nothing that they were actually making would ever have a market. And he thought to himself, you know, I can see their frustration. These people are crazy. They're not stupid. They're not retarded in any way. They're not mentally handicapped like that. They actually need dignified jobs. And he had grown up in a dairy part of Catalonia in Spain, and had come from a long line of dairy farmers, and decided that he was going to set up a dairy farm that would employ people with mental illness. And my favorite part of this story is when he goes to a bank to ask for a loan to set up his business. And he goes to the loan officer and he says, my name is Christopher Columbus. I am a psychiatrist. I need a loan so that I can set up a business that will employ crazy people. I always think of that when Muhammad Yunus talks about how difficult it was for him to get a loan to start the Grameen Bank. I tell Yunus, you know, Cristobal Colon had a much harder time than you did getting that loan, because at least you're not, you know, you weren't totally crazy. You weren't employing crazy people. So today, just to wrap this up, La Fajeda has a third market share for dairy products in Spain, and most people, most consumers who buy La Fajeda products have no idea who is actually behind these. So it's a great story. I think that in 2017 we're going to have a very different world. We talk today about social entrepreneurship, and we talk about entrepreneurship. We seem to be making a difference between where you do good and where you make your money. I actually believe that by 2017 we'll no longer have the term social entrepreneurship and entrepreneurship, because in fact what will have had to happen is that every entrepreneur will have had to become a social entrepreneur, and the distinction will be erased. I think it is no longer tenable to think that you can only make money and not really be involved with sustainability issues around social equity, around environmental preservation. And I actually really believe that people are coming to that awareness. We're seeing this in a whole generation change of young people coming out of business schools who no longer just want to make lots of money. They really want to leave a legacy on this earth, and it has to do with not just making money, but actually doing something right. So I see very clearly that soon all entrepreneurs will be social entrepreneurs.
Global X is also on SocialEdge at socialedge.org.